Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Wi-Fi Now special event on assuring and accelerating Wi-Fi 6E deployment. So my name is Klaus Hetting, and I'm the CEO and chairman of this organization, and I am delighted that so many of you have chosen to join us today. We've had a lot of interest in this event already. A couple of hundred folks have registered, and I expect probably more will be coming joining us as we get this kicked off. So our distinguished guests today are our great Wi-Fi Now testing partners from Spirent in the form of Abu Islam. Abu is Business Development Director at Spirent. And also we will be joined by our brand new Wi-Fi 6E platform partners from ON Semiconductor in the form of Scott Tan. So Scott is product manager for Wi-Fi and networks at ON, and we're going to get to those excellent gentlemen in just a moment. Before we do that, here's my very quick rundown on what's happening with Wi-Fi 6E. We sometimes just abbreviate it as 6E and leave out the Wi-Fi piece around the world. So the countries that we know of who have already adopted the 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi or 6E standard are, or spectrum, I should say, to be more precise, are of course the US, the UK, Republic of Korea. We also know that the Republic of Chile in South America has already made that decision. And by the way, there's lots more in the pipeline as far as Latin America is concerned. There's a lot going on there. And the extra good news for us here where I am in Europe, of course, is that we are on track for the EU to release 480 megahertz of new Wi-Fi spectrum this coming April. So we're pretty sure it's going to be in April. It could be delayed by a few weeks or maybe a month or so, but we're pretty sure that Q2 is when it's going to happen. There are only formalities remaining at this point as far as Europe is concerned for the release of the 6 gigahertz spectrum. So, of course, the entire Wi-Fi industry ecosystem is ramping up and revving up to develop this huge opportunity called Wi-Fi 6E, basically all over the world. We expect that 2021 will be the year, well, first of all, of course, of continued mass market adoption of Wi-Fi 6, but very much also the year will mark the beginnings of a new era in connectivity with Wi-Fi 6E. So super, super exciting to be part of what we like to call a paradigm shift in connectivity with very big chunks of new pristine spectrum being made available, as well as a brand new Wi-Fi standard, of course, which is, of course, Wi-Fi 6. So for this industry, as well as for billions of Wi-Fi users out there, to extract maximum benefit from Wi-Fi 6E, we need to get 6E products out there as quickly as we possibly can, of course, and they need to be up to scratch in terms of quality. And that is the focus of today's special event, assuring quality and at the same time, accelerating development, all right? So to tell us all about this and to kick us off, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, who is in fact Scott Tan. Scott is product manager for Wi-Fi and networks at ON Semiconductor. Scott, it's great to see you. I hope I got your title right, and if not, just please correct me. And welcome to the special event. It's great to see you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Klaus. Yeah, I really appreciated this opportunity, for me and Abu to talk about the Wi-Fi 6E. Yeah, it's really exciting, as you said. A lot of countries announced, the opening of the Wi-Fi, in the 6 gig. And I'm, kind of, in charge of the product management and roadmap for the Wi-Fi products in the container solution business unit in ON Semiconductor. And yeah, thanks everybody, and welcome, for this to this webinar. And really looking, forward to discuss a little bit about the use cases and the test requirements, and together with Abu to kind of discuss a little bit about on the testing, design, and the solutions to speed up time to market and launch product successfully, right?
Yeah, please go ahead, Scott, and share your screen so that we can see your presentation. I think you have one prepared for us, right?
Okay, let me fire up my slides. Hold a second. Share the screen.
That looks perfect. Yeah, just put it in presenter mode. We're good to go.
Okay, can you guys see the screen now?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Excellent. Yep. Okay, great. So first, let me kind of give a quick update on the regulation and also the WFA progress. Klaus already, mentioned the progress from different countries, and USA, basically this is the first country kind of opening, 1.2 gigahertz kind of spectrum in the 6 gig, right? And the support of different kind of devices. The first device we look at, very exciting actually. The low power indoor applications. APs can transmit, 5 dBm per megahertz kind of a power, spectral density. And for 160 megahertz, you can literally get, 27 kind of dBm, ERP power. Can be, used for most of the applications we are kind of, using today, right? And there's a, you can transmit, up to 36 dBm ERP, and but this only runs on the Unit 5 and the Unit 7 band. And on the client side, basically, for mobile devices, the device operates 6 dB lower than the connected AP. There's a new FNPRM proposed very low power, so-called VLP operations. Those kind of devices can operate at 14 dBm ERP, and also proposing increase the power spectral density by 3 dB for the LPI type of devices. So it's very exciting because it gives a lot of spectrum. In the meanwhile, you can have different kind of devices operating at a different kind of on a different kind of a power spectrum, power profile, and then you can enjoy the benefit from the 6 gig. EU and the UK, as Klaus mentioned, basically they're opening. I think the UK now, kind of opening, the 5925 to 6425 megahertz band, and the output power is about 24 dBm for indoor application only. And this, very low power kind of category, running. You can operate, 25 milliwatts, which is equivalent, to 14 dBm for mobile use, and EU also kind of on the same kind of category, open the Unit 5 and band for the basically the low band of the 6 gig, and the output power is 3 dBm, which is 200 milliwatts, ERP for indoor only. Also, the very low power is the same as UK, 25 milliwatts for mobile use cases. So the final decision, I think, is expected to be early, next year. And after that, the countries under the EU and the CPT, basically, they will apply and, turns into national laws. So we're expecting actually, customer, kind of a start, kind of a designs and, expecting launching, maybe, in the 2022 timeframe, right? Even earlier. So Klaus also mentioned, South Korea, the first country in the APAC kind of area, they announced the opening for 1.2 gig spectrum, very similar to the kind of a US 6 gig band from 5925 to 7125 megahertz. And they actually do support indoor and outdoor kind of a device-to-device communications. And the transmit power is somewhat, I think, in the 250 milliwatts ERP. Chile, the first Latin American countries, right, announced the opening of 1.2 gigahertz spectrum also, and supporting indoor applications with a similar kind of a power spectrum density as the US, and up to 30 dBm ERP. And clients, basically the same as the US, and the maximum can get 24 dBm ERPs. On the other side of Wi-Fi Alliance, basically the Wi-Fi 6E certification program will be launched in January. Just for everybody's information, Quantenna solution is selected as a test bed. So we will see. Really exciting momentums, and you probably also heard from the market that some of the vendors really want to get into the market as early as possible. So there's some kind of AP announcement and also, client announcement, just a few months back, right? We'll see a lot more in the next year.
Scott, can I just ask you this quickly? Sorry to interrupt. But very good roundup, by the way, of what's going on in regulation and releasing the ban and so forth. Do you know whether the South Koreans will permit outdoor use of the ban? I know you're saying device to device, but in general, in a similar way as what is permitted in the US, do you have any information on that?
Yeah, we're also kind of working, trying to find more details about that. And from some of the information we get, basically they do actually support, indoor and outdoor, device to device connections. That's kind of, explicitly, stated. I think it's more or less, related to power, right? How much power you can transmit, for indoor and outdoors.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so let's talk about the use cases, right, in different scenarios. Today, I'm gonna kind of talk about some use cases, including the home and industrial IoT and enterprise. So let me start with the residential home. I think that's probably the first market will be adopting the Wi-Fi 6E, right? And there are a few cases we're seeing, our customers and the industry really kind of ramp up, the effort and trying to launch, the market, the product to the market as soon as possible. Look at the picture, from the left to the right. Basically, you have, the first kind of use cases where, looking to, it's a point-to-point kind of a bridge application. We have customers, kind of doing designs like, a single band, 5x5 or 4x4, 6 gig only device. This is very different because it kind of provided the 4x4 full stream 160 megahertz, translated to file rate is 4.8 gigabps, right? Kind of file rate. And you can support, almost like a wireless fiber type of, kind of a throughput. And one of the use case may be replacing the cable between the modem, which is most time kind of installed in the garage or somewhere near the entry to the house, easy for the carrier to access. But most of the case in your home, the main router actually installed somewhere in the center or somewhere far from the modem. Right, so you can use this device to basically create a point-to-point bridge, a very fast link, low latency link to extend your home access, WAN port to the main router somewhere installed in the home. And with this device, because this device basically can put aside, the main router or any router like a dual band router or tri-band, with the two 5G radio. That kind of a router, a mesh node in your home, and you can maybe leverage, the software from, same system. You can get a kind of a virtually a tri-band, router solution, right? Because this, you can use like a 2.5G Ethernet cable connected to that router, and the 6 gig, basically on that, sidecar, we call it sidecar device. You can use that for the mesh backhaul, for example. Mesh actually is very popular, right? Everybody probably have the mesh in the home, and it does really improve the coverage and the access user experience. And so with this sidecar, you can turn the mesh to be a kind of a 6 gig radio, 6 gig of cable device, and down the road, maybe early next year, you will probably buy a tri-band router with the true tri-band 6 gig, right, within the same enclosure. So use a 6 gig as a as a backhaul, dedicated backhaul. 6 gig, has a lot of advantage, right? It's a pristine kind of band, low latency, less congestion. 5G today, it's used as a backhaul for many of the mesh solutions. But 5G get very crowded. Very surprisingly, you can see, probably all your neighborhoods actually, using 5G, backhaul for mesh, right? And also DFS is another kind of, issue here. You can literally, cannot run the 160 megahertz, on the 5G band. And with more and more mesh, nodes in the neighborhood, especially for apartment kind of, area, right? So it's getting clouded, and the backhaul, needed the speed to support multiple nodes. So 6 gig definitely, can fulfill that, kind of a high speed, link among the nodes. But 5G is getting more and more challenged. If you notice, kind of a mesh, performance degraded, probably, because of the 5G getting more crowded recently. So, probably next year you will see also, many vendors launch, 6 gig capable devices in the market. Already some customers, like Intel already announced Wi-Fi 6 gig, 6E capable devices to the market already. And you will, see more kind of gaming machines, laptops, and 8K, capable set-top boxes and TVs supporting 6 gig. And then you can enjoy, the fast speed and low latency for, given kind of applications. Enjoy 8K, videos and low latency on gaming, online gaming, and also AR, VR applications. Yeah. So it's very exciting, in the home kind of environment.
Super interesting. Super interesting. I'm just going to interrupt you just for a second. Your sound is a little bit choppy, Scott. I don't know if there's anything you can do about it from your end. I think it is probably the connection, I imagine. If there is something that you can do, maybe, I don't know, but it kind of comes and goes. I just wanted to say, so the first 6E product could actually be kind of a standalone, if you like, mesh unit of sorts, right? This is what you mean by a sidecar, a dedicated 6 gigahertz a backhaul, essentially, or in the form of a mesh or just a point-to-point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is a kind of a single band, right? It's a single band device. This is why we call it sidecar. It's kind of a target to use, just to put aside a existing device and turn the existing device virtually to be 6 gig, kind of a AP or a router or gateway, and make it 6 gig capable.
Yeah, so you think that these devices might be in fact so effective that they might displace initially perhaps a few of the very, very popular sort of the multi-mode capable mesh units. I mean, is that a possibility, or how do you view that?
Yeah, we call it upgrade. Basically, today the mesh nodes, if this dual band 5G, 2G dual band router or mesh node, or this tri-band, so-called tri-band, basically they have 2 5G radios on the mesh, right? So the 6 gig is a totally different kind of a new band, and with this sidecar, you can put aside, not in the same enclosure, but close enough, like maybe within meter, some kind of a range. And you can manage, that, sidecar through that mesh, either tri-band, but the tri-band is still on the 5G, right? And with this sidecar, you can make it as a true, tri-band with the 6 gig. So you can run 6 gig band, 5G band and 2.4G band.
Super cool. Thank you for that. Thank you. Your sound is good, by the way, Scott.
Excellent. Thank you. I don't know what's happening. So the second use case I want to talk about a little bit about is the industrial IoT applications. Industrial IoT actually is one of the fastest growing market for Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi 6E. It does cover a broader spectrum of applications, automotive, manufacturing, transportation, and smart city. To name a few. Today we just talk about on the industry 4.0 or the smart factory type of use cases, and talk a little about the Wi-Fi 6E capabilities, how to meet the requirements from the factory floor, the network, and the connectivity for smart factory applications. And 5G has been regarded, somewhat as the main wireless technology for industrial IoT and also, industry 4.0 applications. But with the advances in technology, in the Wi-Fi side, Wi-Fi 6, support OFDMA, and with the free spectrum, right? We just talked about Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E would definitely be another very compelling, wireless technology to provide secure, high performance, and also business value kind of solutions for smart factory. According to some research data, average factory generate huge data on a daily basis, real-time data up to 1 terabyte or more, kind of real-time data from thousands of sensors deployed on the factory floor, and the Wi-Fi 6 with 6 gig band open abundance of spectrum. You can support many new channels and support the density needed for deploying thousands or even tens of thousands of IoT devices in the manufacturing premises. And also can scale up to very high speed applications, right? Like AR, VR, those kind of video type of applications for remote operation and also for remote training. And on the AP side, you literally get up to almost like 10 gig of rate, that kind of a speed to support intensive data transfer in the factory kind of environment. Most importantly, for smart factory, the latency and the reliability are the very key kind of requirements for the manufacturing operation, kind of a technology network. And with 6 gig, you have almost congestion-free and interference-free channels. And there's no contention or much less contention on those channels. And MU, MIMO, and OFDMA, the two kind of big techniques for multiplexing access. And MU, you can basically multiplex, send receive traffic from multiple devices on the spatial domain. And OFDMA are very important. That's the high efficient kind of Wi-Fi technology core, right? And the downlink OFDMA can enable the AP to transmit, one AP can transmit up to 74 devices at the same time. And also uplink OFDMA can allow that amount of devices transmit same kind of amount of data, clients simultaneously transmit data to the AP. So that's significantly reduce the contention, reduce the latency on the media side. On top of that, time-sensitive network, which is based on 1588 and 802.1as, and a lot of study and also a lot of advances in that area. And you can literally build a very deterministic timing, sensitive kind of a network to support the very reliable and very demanding kind of a requirement needed for the control loop systems.
Scott, let me just ask you, Scott. I think it's super interesting because obviously all of us have been, all of us folks that have been in the Wi-Fi industry for a long time are certainly hoping that we will be able to develop new opportunities like this, specifically for industrial, right? Are you experiencing from existing clients or potential new clients that that there's a real interest in this specific industrial area, as also in connection with the new band being made available?
Yeah, we do see many customers. ON Semi has a very strong footprint in the industrial space, and we do see many customers actually interested in looking at using Wi-Fi as a connectivity technology for IoT devices and build networks for factory floors. It's not a impossible thing, right? Because first, many of the sensors probably, for example, like automated guided vehicles today, you can definitely use Wi-Fi. It's not that really like a safety critical, some of the use cases, and the Wi-Fi definitely provide a much kind of a high performance and also low cost solution, right? Correct. And you can replace cables, and compared to 5G private networks and Wi-Fi. In fact, Wi-Fi has been the prevalent kind of solution, wireless technology in the industrial kind of environment. It's already provided access for mobile employees mobile contractors, right? And also the infrastructure, the IT infrastructure network.
Right. So this is an interesting point because we don't usually talk about it this much, and I don't personally know that many folks in industrial areas of work. So, but the Wi-Fi industry in general doesn't talk much about all the industrial applications that actually right now are running on Wi-Fi, and there's a lot of that, right?
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, many of them are already, in the factory floor, right? Yeah, I think the Wi-Fi 6, 6E, with also Wi-Fi 7 down the road, right? A lot of discussions and also proposals about how to improve further, and make time-sensitive network, basically the 1588 and also 802.1s, work over Wi-Fi network, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a lot of new features like, relatively, new probably in terms of a deployment perspective, like indoor localizations based on fine time measurement, right? You can get, timestamp under, sub-nanosecond type of accuracy.
Correct,
right?
correct.
So that all those features, involving features definitely, provide the, capability, down the road to support very stringent requirement in terms of reliability and determinism, right?
Excellent, very good.
Yeah, and also Wi-Fi 6 has a lot of features, to extend the range and, saving powers, maximize the battery life for IoT devices, which are really also important for, smart factory, right? A lot of sensors, more and more sensors installed on the manufacturing line, and Wi-Fi 6, provided many very nice, features to extend the range under the, the kind of limited or the given, transmitting power. For example, extend the range PBDU and dual carrier modulation and dual beacon. You basically can, send 2 copies of information, under the same kind of transmit power. And also you can, use narrow band instead of, 20 megahertz wideband to communicate, because many of the devices may not necessarily, need that kind of high throughput, high rate, but the battery, life is even more critical. Mm-hmm. Right. On the AP side, you can fully leverage, high order MIMO. For example, you can build 8x8. You can leverage, we call it, beamforming, right? Beamforming GaN and antenna array GaN. So the client side, you can only have 1 antenna, but the AP side, you have 8 antennas. You can, use the beamforming to extend the range. Although the transmit side from the, the client side only support 1 antenna and low power. So most importantly, for Wi-Fi 6, there are a lot of features, supporting power saving, like, talk to wake time, TWT. Basically, the AP and the clients can negotiate, right? It can, talk to many, clients, wake up many clients, group of clients simultaneously, or, individually wake up the clients. Instead of like today, the client will wake up, periodically and check, whether there's an AP, and then, check whether the media is accessible and send the packets. Wasted a lot of energy, during this kind of a checking, listen and talk kind of, process, to gain the media access. Intro PBDU is another interesting feature. For example, the client, if there's a called a BSS color, right? And basically, each, clients can understand which group, which AP it belongs to. If this packet, received, and it's quickly check whether this packet, the PBDU is the same color with the client. If it's not, the client will immediately turn to dose mode again. So that's to save a lot of power as well. And a lot of other features like, OMI, also the operation mode indication. Basically, the client can talk to the AP and say, I only have 1 antenna. I only, I want to, operate at 1 antenna. So the AP doesn't need to send 2 streams to the client, right? Vice versa, the transmitter side as well. So a lot of features actually very nice, address, the power saving and also range, basically, to maximize the battery life. Of course, in a smart factory kind of environment, security is very important, right? Especially related to safe critical, mission critical, kind of applications. Wi-Fi, enhanced security in the WPA3. We also have enterprise kind of a suite, right? DVP is another very interesting feature, especially for those devices, very tiny IoT devices, which don't have a very rich kind of a user interface. the DVP can, scan a QR code, for example, and, onboard those devices very easily and securely. Flexible integration is one of the strengths of Wi-Fi, right? Wi-Fi already being integrated with the Ethernet and other connectivities like Bluetooth, Zigbee, coexistence, very mature. And as we just touched on, Wi-Fi has been, the most prevalent technology for IT systems in the industrial kind of environment. And with further, kind of improvement in time-sensitive network features, it can integrate, the IT kind of a network with the operation network, and easily integrate the control and the management, systems together. I think overall, this is really exciting, although it's a little bit kind of, futuristic in many, aspects in terms of maturity. But I think Wi-Fi is being, has been used in the enterprise kind of environment and industrial, environment, and it's going to be a very, compelling technology, as well as, what we're seeing the 5G kind of also getting to the industrial area.
Very, very good. Yeah, I really like your presentation of all the use cases and how these various features apply. What I'm also thinking here is there would have to be certain phases, right, involved in the rollout of the technology. Is that what you're experiencing here as well?
Yes. Yeah, I think the industry also, I think the AV New Alliance actually, kind of lay out the, different phases, the roadmap support, for example, the TSN, right, the time-sensitive network, right. Wi-Fi for industrial kind of applications, and they have multiple phases, yeah. And first phase maybe this kind of act as an IT kind of a network. And then eventually, getting the control loop, systems, correct. And building, either redundant kind of a network, along with the already installed wired network, or eventually be the kind of the wireless, TSN network for a smart factory kind of.
Correct. Yeah, Scott, can I just ask you to unshare your presentation so we can see a little bit more of you on the screen here? The other, yeah, just go ahead and do that. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is, and Abu's ready to go. We're going to bring you on in just a moment. I just wanted to ask you in terms of customization. I mean, this just occurred to me when I saw you describing obviously a very long list of features and a lot of use cases, and we're starting to get used to this. I think in the era of Wi-Fi 6 and 6E, because we're really expanding the capability of what the technology can be used for, and hence all the combinations and permutations increase, right? So in terms of customizations, is this something your clients are asking for? I'm thinking particularly for areas like industrial, automotive, where there's something very specific they want to use it for. Maybe not a big breadth of stuff, but something very specific. Are you experiencing that?
I think, yeah, because Wi-Fi 6E provide a very broad, kind of very rich features, right? So. Right. We provided everything, I mean, from the very low level, kind of, silicon hardware level, and also SDK level. A lot of customization is mainly, on the, customer side, depends on the applications, yeah, what kind of use, cases, they are going after. So we support all those kind of a different kind of a customization or, optimization for different kind of applications. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very, very good. Scott, it's great to have you, first of all. Thank you so much. And please stick around because we're going to bring up Abu, and he has obviously a presentation about how to accelerate time to market, also with testing and so on, and assuring quality. We'll bring you back. So please stay online, and we'll bring you back at the end. We'll just have a wrap-up discussion. But thank you so much for those insights. It was really good.
Absolutely.
So I just want to bring Scott back. Scott, you've been listening to all of this, and do you... You're shaking your head. This is getting really complicated. I mean, do you recognize the complexity and the challenge that we're standing before here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we had many discussions with Abu. Actually, very happy. Actually, we are, one of, Abu's many customers, and yeah, the test cases, Abu just highlighted, it's a humongous effort, right? The compliance, the new features, and also, the 6 gig. The 6 gig is definitely, it's new to the industry. And a lot of new things, components, filters, right? And also the compliance, to the FCC, all things are new. And for as a silicon vendor, ON Semi, doing reference designs, working with the customers, we basically also kind of test every kind of aspects of the features, and also test in the real house kind of situation, right? Run through all the test cases for RVR, how to get the OFDMA again, those kind of stuff. This is really exciting also to hear from Abu that they already kind of have one-click type of kind of solution, help us, and also have a kind of emulated kind of environment help us to speed up the time to market.
Right, and one of the things that I keep wondering about, how how do people manage this? How do manufacturers? How do you guys manage it? And is that we've had a Wi-Fi 6 evolution, which was fairly quick, also by Wi-Fi standards. I think, that has happened fairly quickly, and that, of course, is one leap. And now, very close to on the heels, so to speak, of Wi-Fi 6, we have another leap. So it's like a double leap, right? And we're, I think, to some extent, don't even have that much experience yet with Wi-Fi 6 in its own right, and now we then have a new layer of standards that we have to deal with. That in its own right is a really big deal. Are you feeling a bit overwhelmed, or are you in good hands?
Exactly. It's very exciting though, right?
Right.
We love new things, and
Yeah.
definitely, this is really exciting. You see the humongous, kind of a benefit ahead, right? The Wi-Fi 6E, will bring us, the low latency, ultra low latency, and also really like a fast, speed to, to the emerging kind of applications like AR, VR. Yeah, it is very challenging, right? And it's been a year.
Fun and enjoyable, right? Fun, and it's a good challenge. It's a luxury.
Fun and enjoyable.
Luxury problem, if you like, right? It's something that we want to do anyway. So.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I think everybody really want to get a Wi-Fi 6E box somewhere next year and use that, right? Especially given that we're still living with the COVID-19 kind of a global pandemic situation. You do need a very fast Wi-Fi home network.
For sure. But what do you think? You're dealing with maybe you're servicing maybe 100 clients, and they must be somewhere between having work themselves up to something related to Wi-Fi 6, and now they are going to need to also shift to 6E. There's a lot going on, right?
Yeah, exactly, and we're talking about that. So just to let you know that every customer who are thinking about Wi-Fi 6 now suddenly are asking, like, what is the solution for Wi-Fi 6E? What is the upgrade path to Wi-Fi 6E, right? And we do see that, it will create a lot of interest, right?
Right, and not to get you guys going on Wi-Fi 7, but honestly, we've got now, I don't know if you know this, but we offer actually training now. We started what we call Wi-Fi Now Academy, and we also actually now offer, I think it's like a 3.5 day sort of thing on Wi-Fi 7, as if 6 and 6E were not enough. We're already started. We're starting with a training company, but there's more stuff coming down the pike here. So we've got our work cut out for us. Can I just ask maybe both of you, in terms of any disruption that you've experienced in your practical everyday work, I should say? Obviously people are working from, at least some people are working from home. My impression when I spoke, for example, to the Wi-Fi Alliance was that they immediately told me that, look, everything as far as standardization is going according to plan. We have not disrupted anything. We're sticking to timelines, and that was the message from them. And I was very encouraged by that, right? That there was no disruption of that. And in terms of yourselves, maybe Scott, work is proceeding, maybe under different conditions, but it's still proceeding properly, right?
Yeah. I think, it's still proceeding. We're working around, this kind of situation, and everything, still kind of, work out pretty well. Yeah.
Abu, how about you guys and your clients?
Well, yeah, sure. So first of all, we're fortunate that we're in the broadband industry, right? We are not impacted by COVID.
Yes.
If you're in other industry, right? So overall, you can see that Wi-Fi industry is really benefited in a way. Sad to say it, but the truth is that not only that we benefited, we also provided value to people across the board, right? Like working from home and so forth, right? So when it comes to business definitely, the companies are finding new ways to conduct businesses, but quite frankly, I mean, I think we are more successful, this year.
This is one of no, exactly. I was going to say that as well, and we really do, as an industry, have to count our blessings, right? Because we're in, as you said, broadband in tech, and tech industry has done ridiculously well while during this time. And of course, we should be happy, but it's also incredibly, of course, enormously sad for all the businesses that have been, not done well, and some have been wiped out. So, as I said, let's count our blessings and be happy and about that. And I mean, I'm sure you agree with that, because it's actually been some companies been a boost, right? I mean, I think it was Netgear or somebody like that who posted. I forget whether it was exactly Netgear, but one of these mesh companies posted something like a 40%. Gain in sales revenue in a quarter, which is like staggering, right? Guys, it's
I agree.
It's fantastic to have both of you. Any last words you want to leave our viewers with? I think you guys both did a great job on working the 6E story really well in detail and sharing all this information with our community. I really want to thank you for that. If you have anything you want to comment here at the end, feel free.
Yeah, so I mean, again, it's a good opportunity, Klaus, to talk to you and share what we know, and I know for sure that we will learn more as we work with our customers, and we have planned to share more information. Please look out for next year for more detailed information about how to run Wi-Fi 6E test cases. Some white paper coming. And a lot of engagement, including with you, right, Klaus?
And by the way, I should say, Abu, you did launch a new product here today, or you made an announcement about a new product coming out early next year, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, that is correct. And we will cover that in more detail, by the way, because you are one of our partners, so we are obliged to do it. But we also want to do it, by the way. We're not only obliged. So that's good. Sure. And Scott, any last words from you? We love working with ON. I think you guys are super innovative and very, very good at that.
Yeah, we really appreciate this opportunity to talk about this hottest kind of technology in the Wi-Fi kind of industry, right? To everybody, actually, Wi-Fi is so important, right? Given the situation now, and we're also really excited to looking forward to more kind of products, Wi-Fi 6E products be announced and launched to the market early next year, probably the soonest.
It's going to be super, super interesting, and maybe even something, I'm guessing, at the the virtual CES. CES used to be the big thing, and I suppose maybe it's going to be something. I'm not sure what it'll be, but traditionally there's been obviously a lot of product launches, so keep an eye on that, and I'm certainly going to be keeping an eye on that. Something might happen. Scott, it's great to have you. Abu, it's fantastic to have you. Thank you so much for this, and please come back and we'll do it again with even more information and more great stuff. All right.
Yeah, thank you, Klaus, and happy holidays. Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah.